you doing, brother?
Yes, not bad, not bad.
This is the third time lucky. Third time lucky? Yeah, third time lucky.
Yeah, first one was Diff.
Yep.
Shaking. Second one was cylinders shaking.
Nitrous ruined my life.
No. Yeah.
And we're back with Kai at Night Family Motorsport. On the hub dyno, we have got the Haltech UC10's been firmware updated, and I can display the fancy logo on the dash, so I'm stoked about that.
You can.
The Nexus has also had a firmware update, and the PD16. We've changed the stator in the converter, which is hopefully going to help it out a little bit.
Yep, hopefully we'll get it up. We'll see if ultimately it'd be great if we could just use the dump valve and not having to rely on the nitrous heavily, which would be great for just street driving and stuff like that. But I mean, we have the nitrous there for spooling. I'm sure we'll end up using it at track and stuff like that to make it 60 foot. But it'd just be nice if the stator, they can, and we've seen it before. Like you can hit get in that sweet spot where it'll be just just nice.
So just for those young players at home, can you explain what the dump valve does?
Yeah, all right, so the question for you, is this one an internal or an external? Do you remember? It's an external, external dump valve, essentially what that does is that in a power glide, they're quite simple, is that the oil flow that's filling the converter, essentially it goes, I'm going to simplify it, but it essentially goes from the oil pump to the converter, out of the converter, it goes through the cooler circuit. Yep. Then from the cooler circuit, it comes back and it lubricates the gear train to the gearbox, right? Yep. So the bearings and stuff inside there. We have what's called converter charge pressure or cooler line pressure, right? That is, and what the dump valve, an external dump valve is doing is that instead of the oil flowing out through the cooler and then coming back and lubricating the gear train, which creates a certain amount of converter charge pressure, we're just going to dump that straight back into the oil pan of the gearbox, right? What that's going to do is what we're trying to do is we're trying to lower the fill level of the converter. We're trying to sort of take some oil out of the converter by giving it just like a free return back to the pan. Yep. It allows the converter to not be quite so full of oil, which then allows it to sort of like, it doesn't couple as well. It allows you to spin up a little bit more, just like say if you had low gearbox oil level and you would feel the converters maybe a bit slippier than normal.
There we go, good way of explaining it.
It's the same sort of deal, right? Obviously there's different, we're not talking about slipping clutches in the gearbox, we're talking about the converter is not full of oil and hence it's not coupling as much.
Sweet. And we left off last time we did that nitrous hit, we were running, was it 30?
I think it was 30, pretty much right on 30.
And we made like 960 something. We didn't quite crack that 1,000.
It was just under,
Alright, I'm a big bloke for who cares about dyno numbers, whatever. Run it at the track, let's have some fun. But just for the sake of having a 1,000 horsepower car, it's everyone's dream. I mean, unless you're Millsy, you want 1,000 kilowatts. But this day and age, I thought it wasn't that hard, but here I am with a lot of money invested into this shit box, and I still haven't got that magic printout yet. So
that's why. I mean, it's one of these things of. I will say, last time we didn't ever get to, like, normally G45 2JZ, realistically, to see 1,000 through a power glide, I would expect we're going to need at least 38 to 40 pounds of boost in this thing to be a reality.
Which this can take.
That's what it's built for, you know what I mean? So we were still 10 pounds of boost shy of what we would expect it to need to see 4 digits on the dyno. So, like, realistically, the nitrous spray thing, like, obviously, man, I've got away with it heaps times before, you know what I mean? And this time we didn't, hindsight's amazing, you know what I mean? It's
of course,
we probably could have run the engine, and like definitely honestly, the comment section, we do read the comment section, you know what I mean? Even I read the comment section. And I 100% agree with like people in the comments saying those cylinders were lean and all that sort of stuff. Of course they were lean, like that's obvious. We saw the electrode was gone, you know what I mean? That's not even a question. Could we have got away with that nitrous shot if we'd run the engine at a 10.0 air fuel? We probably could have, you know what I mean? Were we running it that rich? No, we weren't. We were running around sort of 10.5-ish, which is where I've typically got away with it. And I'm talking gas-scaled AFRs because that's what the comments were talking. Normally we tune in Lambda, but like I said, the comments were all over the AFR, so we'll talk the same numbers.
Yep.
Like I said, could we have plummeted into a 10.0 and got away with it? We probably could have. But like I said, you only find that out from running it and then going, yep, didn't like that. You know what I mean? And like I said, it did give us a bum steer with the lower boost hit where all the EGTs looked happy. We've also done another change as well. We have sunk Woody's sunk the EGT probes a bit deeper in that, because we were saying that even when it did, like, we had 2 plugs that were melted 2 and 5 EGT were not that much different. So that was showing us that even in the event of where something's clearly getting too hot because the exhaust valve seats are melted, the EGT probes weren't really registering a big rise. So in light of that, the probes have been sunk a bit deeper. Woody's made a really close, conscious effort to keep them all very equal. So yeah, we're keen to see how it goes. We're not gonna spray under big boost, especially because this thing's already shown us that there's clearly some distribution stuff going on.
You told me too. You said nitrous is a really harsh power adder and it will up. And I remember you saying that to me. And then when we start
very quickly, it'll go. If it's going to go bad, it'll go bad very quickly. And it's one of those things I said. Have I got away with this size shot and more shot? And has other people? Yes. And they have, and we've got away with it. And I could show you 10 other cars. We've got away with it. You know what I mean? But this car has shown us that, and whether or not this was the one, remember the throttle body closes slightly? There's lots of little ifs, buts, and maybes. Either way, it's shown us that it does weird stuff, so we're going to avoid that hornet's nest. We probably will use it. We'll definitely use it to get it up on the chip quickly at the drags. We'll almost certainly use it in the 60 foot or maybe the first 1.5 seconds at the drags to get the car to leave hard. Will we leave it on for a full track pass? Probably not. It just and again, if we wanted to do that, we'd put direct port on it. And the manifold is actually designed for direct port nitrous. It has the bosses in there. We are just running a single fogger, more just for getting it on the converter.
And that's what it was originally for. And yes, I probably could have gone direct port too, but I just didn't want to. I didn't want to go down that path. For me, I wanted to get it back on the road as quickly as possible, or back running as quickly as possible.
But yeah, definitely. Like I said, because this has shown me that it does weird stuff, while we are spraying on this thing, we're going to be extra rich, and we're going to already have a bit of extra timing out of those 2 cylinders when it's spraying, because if it's already shown us there's something weird going on, then we'll just preempt it.
Well, I've changed the throttle body orientation now. Instead of being vertical, it's now horizontal.
Now it'll be 2 other cylinders. Nah, who knows? But anyway, like I said, we'll play with it.
Sweet. So goals, more boost, hopefully make over 1,000.
I think we'll go for like 38 or 40 pounds today, just on fuel and and boost essentially.
Sweet. And then we've got driving manners, obviously try and get up on boost quicker.
I think we'll concentrate on that before we go for the big boost run.
Trans braking, we didn't even get the trans brake.
No, well we were
last time.
Then when the 2 cylinders got hurt, we were like, all right, put it on the trailer. You know what I mean? So we'll do all that sort of stuff. We'll play around with that. We're gonna blow that dump valve open, and we could probably even show some on versus off settings to see how effective it'll be. And then it'd be really good if it'll just come up. That'd be nice.
Awesome. Yeah. Sweet.
So let's get stuck into that.
All right, let's do it. Quite well then, eh?
It comes up pretty good. It's as far as things go. What do we got? We got on the throttle here at 2.5 seconds, or let's call it 2.8, and then we were on the chip at 8.8. So it's about 6 seconds to the chip. It's like that's not too bad for no nitrous. Yeah. That's and so you can see the the dump valve having the effect here. I've got this channels displayed here. So this yellow line here is that's the pressure that's the torque converter pressure, that cooler line pressure essentially. And then this external dump is this white line here, which sort of comes up and down. So you can see that we're 65 pounds. The dump valve opens, it drops the lock pressure down to 24, and that's what's essentially helping to evacuate the converter, and then it's coming up pretty good. Not too bad. If you can get that number lower, which is like opening up jet sizes and stuff inside there, it'll be generally. I've seen and spoke with a few guys who do these dump valves and transmissions inside. They're trying to get as low as they physically can. Like they can get that thing down in here like single digit pressure. That's where you really get it to start. But this is just fully on. It's just physically can only bypass so much oil through that solenoid. Like I said, that's still doing what we needed to do. So that's fine. Yeah. looks good. It's back to where it was, essentially. We're now just going to... also, we verified... We just wanted to double check. It's all about double checking and verification, especially, you know, once bitten, twice shy sort of deal. Not that we ever had any issues on boost, but it was the nitrous. But yeah, so mixture-wise, it's agreeing with what we have in the car and on here are saying the same thing. Yep. So that's just something I wanted to double check from last time, just because we had the normal sniffer in the pipe, but just the way... There's just nothing great to tie it into the exhaust on this thing. We had straps and Oki straps and all kinds of shit going on, and it would still do like 2 pulls and then blow it out again. And so, anyway, stop blowing that one out anytime soon.
Cool, done.
So yeah, we're going to put the 8s in it. It's just got 7s in it at the moment, just to verify. Everything looks gorgeous. Dump valve works. It comes on boost. It hits the chip. That's excellent. We'll rip that out. We'll put the 8s in it. Throw 40 pounds at it. We'll call it a day.
Ginger beer time. Oh, actually, Pinot Noir time. What have you got tonight?
Yeah, well, no. Who knows? Who knows? What are we going to do today?
Just for the comment section.
Special short part number.
So that I don't damage the gap on the plugs.
If I got drive shaft RPM, I'll put it back to drive shaft RPM boost. If not, I've already written the map there for engine RPM boost in case it's not going to work.
Dodgy woody crimps are us.
Possibly. Well, we haven't proven that yet.
It could be the sensor.
It could be the sensor.
It was worked the other day. I was driving it. It had speed on the...
Yeah, I thought it had speed when you backed in.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Alright.
Yeah.
Let's go home. Done.
It's done, bro.
It's on.
Awesome. That's only 34 pounds.
It should look good. It's just been freaking refreshed. It also just did 1,000 horsepower, so I can understand if there was something wrong.
Seems happy. Seems real happy.
Sweet. All right, tell me all about it. 1,050.
Yep. So yeah, just went 1,050. It's about, the numbers are about 35 pounds of boost. We are seeing about a 4 to 5 pound drop across the intercooler. So we're seeing about 40 pounds of back pressure on the turbo.
Yep.
But we've got 40 pounds here.
Yep.
And we got about 35 pounds here.
Okay.
So
that's more than reasonable at that kind of power
that's
level.
fine. That's fine. We're not worried about that. It's but yeah, so the turbo's still essentially 1-to-1 boost to back pressure. Obviously not for the manifold, but for the pre-intercooler pressure, it's about 1-to-1.
Turbo RPM?
Turbo speed, we're at about 106,000, so we've still got a little bit of shaft speed to go.
Yep.
I think Garrett, we did look this up last time, was it
did.
117 or 120,000, I think is max recommended limit. But
I can't remember. Sweet.
Again, most guys don't really listen to that limit in the drag racing scene, and their stuff's always getting pushed beyond the limit. But like I said, that we are basically up on the clamping limit of the dyno now with the 389 gears. That was, I think we saw 4450 Newton meters, which I can only hold back 4,500 here.
Okay, wow.
So
all right,
we're basically on the dyno limit of where at that 1050. I could put more boost in later in the revs if we wanted to, but realistically, this whole thing was do we let them in on the future plan?
Well, what, to race it?
No. Or if you wanted to put more in, we were going to go down and throw it on Scotty's dyno.
Well, yeah, we can do that. Is that what he said just on the phone then?
Yeah. He said bring it down whenever, yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Right, let's do that. We'll call it a day then.
Yeah, so I think we're super happy with where it's at now. Like I said, I can't really hold back on him anymore on this dyno with this diff gear because we've gone to a 389. It's put more torque. We're basically right on the limit of the torque at the moment. We always wanted to have a little combo session down with Scotty on the big dyno and smack it with 40 plus and see what it does.
As I said at the start of the episode, I don't care about a power figure, but for it to make
over 1,000. I'm very happy, and I am excited to develop this car a lot more. There's not even the beginning. This has been such a long process, huge build, and there's been so many awesome people involved. Obviously, very thankful for everyone's help. Now, as Kai just said, the party's only just getting started. We've got to go to the track, start setting everything else up. We're off the dyno. Yeah, we're good to go, but there's so much more data to input into the Haltech for traction management. We've got shocks, travel, we've got
chassis. There's a lot that goes into this. It's not just about making power. As anybody who has a car that has big power, there are a lot of cars out there with big power, but there's not a lot of people who have a really great time racing. And I think we're all committed to trying to get Woody to have a good time racing. So
I'm not even competitive though, and it's funny to see how many awesome cars are out these days. I feel like this is quite mild, to be honest, in regards to some of the cars that are getting around these days.
You may not be competitive, but I'm fairly competitive. So.
We'll leave the trophy in your trophy cabinet.
Also, it's about a sense of achievement too. If you can build something and you can take it and test it to its
limits, of course. Truth be told, though, I'm just the monkey steering the wheel and letting go of the button. You're the guy in charge.
Yeah, we'll have a good time. But yeah, we'll all head down. We'll all head down to Hoffs and I don't know. Well, whether we go to the track first or whatever, that's literally just because I can't hold any more power back on here at the moment.
We'll go and see the Hoff for a lemon squash one day when he does one of his Sunday dyno days or something. Yeah.
We'll go and we'll throw it on his, and we can hold back some more power up there and down there.
Last episode I mentioned we weighed the car. Thanks everyone guessing in the comments. The final figure on the scales was 1387. So that's without a driver, and that's probably like 20-ish litres of fuel. I think it might have been maybe 30 litres of fuel or something. So with a full tank, that's obviously going to change. With a driver, that's going to change. The reason we weighed the car was to basically, we know then what springs we can put in it. These springs actually came from Al's Crown. I believe they were too stiff. I think they were for Al's Crown. 175s. Yeah, that sounds about right. So these are a 10-inch, 175 pound. We've now put a 14-inch, 125 pound spring in there. I'll be honest, I know bugger all about spring rates, and I had Matt Rogan from Rogan Industries come down. He helped me out. He did the quick math. I think the figure was, I think we were better off going with like a 140 maybe, I think it was, pound spring. But we went down to the 125, and we can put some preload on the spring to get our ride height set. The shock is at full extension now on the hoist, obviously. I have shock travel sensor on the front and the rear for when we're at the track. We also, with scaling the car, that kind of gives you a front and rear split. And we are now we're going to go down to Pauli's shed, Fullers Automotive, right next door to FFM Fabricating, my good mate Dave. And Pauli's got a four-post wheel light machine there. So we have to do the front, as I said at the dyno, we just kind of ran a tape measure over it. And I think we've got 2 mil toe in. So we're going to see how accurate the tape measure is for one. The camber in the front is not set. The caster isn't set. It's just kind of been bolted back together. As well as all the adjustment in the rear here. This diff I don't think is sitting center because it actually was scrubbing on this side a little bit. I can fix that with a sledgehammer, but we can also center the diff correctly so that it isn't going to scrub on that inner guard there.
You know what you're doing over here or not?
Man, I got no idea.
This is the right tool for the job, I swear. Well, I haven't done a wheel alignment in like, I'm going to say 12 years, I reckon.
Where's the option for
need to update the firmware in your wheel alignment.
What's FE2? What's FE2 on a VR?
That's police spec, mate.
Is it? Is that the police one?
I've just hit that a few times, so we're right about that.
I got no idea what I'm doing. I'm just trying to work this out. I think that means to go roll it backward and forward. Where's Pauli when you need him?
As I mentioned, I haven't done a wheel alignment in years. There's so many different ways you can set up a car for different types of motorsport, whether it be drag racing, circuit racing, drifting, whatever it is, every application is different. Unfortunately, we had some issues with the sensors on Pauli's wheel alignment machine, which meant we could only adjust the toe and camber on the front of the car. The caster and the rear end wasn't working for us, so we got the toe bang on. The camber we set slightly negative, but when you launch the car and the front of the vehicle lifts, that number then turns to 0, which is what you want. When you launch, you want a full contact patch of the tyre on the track. We ended up aligning the rear of the car just with a tape measure and measuring from the back of the rotor to the chassis rail, which I know this car has never been in a crash, so the chassis rail is a true 0 point. Well, it's a good reference point anyway. We then jacked the car up and got Kevo back on the scales. This is so that we can now set up the rear end with some preload in the upper arms. So when we launch Kevo, we can shoot straight down the track safely rather than wanting to kick us sideways. These scales are a very handy tool to have. Thank you so much, Dave, for the loan. I'm sure it's not the last time I'll use them.
So those figures were without me in the car. That's a full tank of fuel now too, which is a big thing. We've got some stuff in the back of the car, but not a heap of weight. Now I'm in the car because we need to set the anti-roll bar, which we're doing with my weight in the car. Westy was busy underneath there adjusting the upper control arms. What did James say?
So upper control arm on the driver's side, shorten it, get 100 pounds more on the right-hand rear tyre.
So that's the secret sauce apparently. I don't know if we're giving away James's recipe or not, but that's what we've been told. I've never done this before. James is very fast at the track. He definitely knows what's up.
Yeah.
So the final weight now, I don't know what you've got there. We can show it on the screen. On the scales, so it's 100 pound more on the right hand side, was that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right hand rear, yeah.
And then the anti-roll bar has then been left zero, so there's no tension on the anti-roll bar at all, and that should hopefully keep us going.
We'll see, like if you go straight when you wheelie, yeah, good days. If you go into the wall, bad days.
All right.
We're going to walk away.
I love it. This has been fun, forever learning, and I kind of wish I had a 4-poster hoist. This Giles Garage gear definitely is a awesome addition to the shed, but they do take up a lot of room. So when I first ordered my hoists, I was actually going to get a 4-poster, but too big for my workshop. Even though this is a very small workshop, I don't know how you've made this work, Pauli. It's very impressive, man.
It's the 4-poster is just so much safer for doing like big clutch jobs and stuff like
sure.
that. Yeah.
If you want to get your car aligned and scaled using Dave's scales.
Yeah. Thanks, Dave.
Give Pauli a call. I'll leave a link in the description for Fullers Automotive. On the sunny coast, local, and Pauli knows what's up. Quickest.
Well, we've got to wait until like test it first to see if we know what's up.
Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't know what's up.
Yeah.
We're just going off James's word anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks for your help, James. Appreciate it. All right, can you let me down now, or am I the apprentice that's got to like break my kneecap?
No, I'm knocked off, so.
Sweet, somewhere.
Yeah, see you, mate.
See you, mate.
Yeah.
Don't know why it's off. A little bit of a bummer with Pauli's wheel alignment machine not playing the game, so we left there and tried a little test launch, and it did not hook up at all. So I've been instructed by Kai, number one, we need to put some weight in the rear, which we'll get to in a second, and two, fit some new tyres. I've run Pro Street radials on the Crown since the beginning, since I did the Barra conversion. This is a 275/60. Some people say that this is a small tyre. I'm going to call this a big tyre because it is a big tyre. I run a 235 on the Crown, and I am very impressed with the performance of those tyres.
They grip up in the dry, they grip up in the wet. The Crown is a heavy car, and the more weight in that car, aka 6 friends in the boot, it grips up a lot better. So going to Kevo, we have got a no prep event coming up, and the class I mentioned restricts you to a budget radial is the class. So Pro Street Radial 275/60 going on the back of Kevo. This will definitely help us get that hit off the mark. We're heading back to Pauli shed again today. I don't know if the machine's fixed or not, but he's got a 4-poster. We're going to use those scales, and Kai is going to come around, and we're going to throw some weight in the back of the car too. So we'll fit these tyres up, get it on the car. I want to also check out the centerline and the anti-squat. I've got no idea what's going on there. Kai is the man, and we just kind of ran out of time the other night. It was getting late, Friday Arvo, so we called it quits, and we're heading back there today to suss it out. So we'll fit these tyres up first, and then we'll talk to you through about this weight in the rear of the car, which we're making adjustable. Actually, Westy will talk you through that because it's his project. Time machine is so handy in the workshop. I still don't have a balancer though, but I will get there. We are going to do a bit of a change here and remove pallet racking, extend the pallet racking out to here with a shelf. But when I do that, then I can get a time machine, a balancer, and probably put it over there. But these things take time.
Righto. Kevo was originally built to be on a prep surface, 1/4 mile, 1/8 mile. The very first event for Kevo is not a prep surface, it's actually a no prep event, and that requires different weight biasing to be set up in the car. Now, I'm no expert on this, we're taking advice from other people who are experts. So what we're doing at the moment is we're just making up some spigots with some plates like this, and they're going to get mounted in the boot, and they're simply going to accept some barbell weights that we can add or remove in known quantities to be able to tune the car for certain preps, temperatures, power levels, and we'll be able to record that data so that we can go back and repeat in the future if we come by the same set of circumstances. So not an overly complex job, but one that we're going to do a good job of anyway. So stand by, you'll see it finished shortly.
There's many different ways you can add weight to your car. We've taken a bit of a budget approach here, just using some steel weights from Marketplace I got off. Someone decided they don't want to hit the gym anymore. We've got a variety of sizes. We're mounting them in the boot here so that it can be adjustable. Some people use lead, some people use concrete, some people use sandbags. The biggest thing that you want to make sure if you are putting weight in a vehicle is that it is secure, and that's what we're doing here. We're limited with where we can mount the weights, one being the size of the plates we've got, and two, the material we're welding to on the boot here. Where we've mounted them is right above the chassis rail, and there's quite a fair bit of reinforcement in the sheet metal, and in our opinion, that was the best spot to mount these plates.
All right, so we're going to do some testing tonight actually, because he's got an event coming up, and instead of going up there and we only get 2 test hits off the trailer and stuff like that, this car has made a total of 0 passes. So we're going to make a few just hits in the driveway here to just maybe even just try and iron out the first 10, 30 feet of the track. It is going to be no prep. The event we're going to is no prep, and so we just got bare asphalt out here. So hopefully the track we're going to will actually be slightly better than what we're going to test on tonight, but this is just going to give us some kind of inkling as to what the car might try and do off the start line in a nice controlled environment with nothing to crash into. From the car park. Anyway, so what we're going to have a look, we're just having a very quick look at the moment under the car of just how the floor link's been currently set up. I think this has all just been thrown in,
I just threw it in basically.
Yeah, so Woody's just thrown it in like where the bolts lined up essentially.
Highest point on the top, lowest point on the bottom.
Yeah. So what I can see straight away from looking at this, and we can all make some assumptions as to what the suspension's going to do, is that it's got a very aggressive setup in the floor link. And what I mean by that is that we've got a lot of rear spread, and we've got in the vertical plane a fairly tight front spread, right? So that'd be, if you measured like the distance between these two in the vertical plane, it's quite narrow. Back here, quite wide.
Yep.
The other thing we can also see is if you followed the angle that this bar would make, if you plotted the imaginary line out where this would go, and then the imaginary line where this would go, honestly, it looks like they're going to intersect like here somewhere.
Yep.
Right? Which would be, that's roughly where the instant center of the car would be. It'd be very short. It'd be like here somewhere.
So that's super aggressive, eh?
Super aggressive.
Yeah.
So what we would expect, a lot of the time, it may be like, way out here somewhere where the bars would theoretically intersect. This creates how much, when the tyre tries to accelerate and the diff tries to, rotate the opposite way that the tyres are rotating, it's going to drive the car forwards, and it's also going to drive the suspension into motion, which we'll see in a second when we start doing hits. So straight away looking at the suspension is I can already tell a couple of things. It's definitely going to try and separate. I'd say it's going to try and separate fairly aggressively. Woody's already said he can feel it on the road that it separates, so we kind of already know that. But this is kind of explaining as to why. And then if we found that it's separating too aggressively or something, then we've got a lot of adjustment here that we could back this out. And what that would do is, imagine if we flattened this bar out, we would be pushing that imaginary intersect point further out along the car, which would be taking that leverage, would be reducing that leverage on the suspension.
So where do you, ideally, in a no prep situation, where would you want that center line to be?
I mean, typically from what I've seen, actually a short and high instant center seems to work quite well. We run, in Australia, we always run on radial tyres because we're silly. No, our events make us run on radial tyres. So, and Woody's literal class is budget radial. So he has to run, this is the tyre we have to run. Everyone else in our class is running this tyre too. So this is a radial tyre. It wants to be separated. It doesn't tolerate wheel speed. So we want to try and drive it into the track hard. We want to try and dead hook it, and we want to try and keep it hooked. We do have quite a lot of suspension travel. As you can see, Woody's gone through and put some fairly light springs in there. So we've got, the shocks are nearly bottomed when the car's sitting there at ride height, and we've got all the extension travel of the shocks to use to get the car to go down the track. So honestly, more or less, we just, on the hoist, just quickly look at it, and then maybe we'll go out, we'll make some hits so that we can see what it's going to do. We're not going to make any full hits. We literally only have maybe 20 or 30 feet to test on, but 20 or 30 feet is better than no feet. So, and feet, I'm just saying feet because drag racing, we all go 60 foot now. But anyway, but honestly, more or less, we're just having a look at this to see where it's at, and I can already see, super aggressive, which probably, honestly, it's a good a starting point as any. Let's go out and make some test hits, I reckon. And if we find that we're struggling to control it, we've got a lot of ability to calm this down if we want to. It's basically on it is on maximum.
I'm going to say it's quite aggressive now.
Yeah.
I mean, we did one the other night and I just fried them straight away. But I think that might have been on like 14 pound too, so that was a mistake. Yeah. No, that's it. We'll throw some weight where we want it. We'll probably baseline the shocks as well. We'll see where they're at. We'll baseline the clickers on the shocks. Do you want to scale it now and get some idea what some weight's going to do?
We could throw it on the scales if you wanted to. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
You're the boss, aren't you? Yeah, I'm just...
Well, I mean, even just throwing what we have weight-wise in the back and then going and making hits, essentially, is even sometimes a faster way. Then you can almost get to the point of, does it hook? Yes, it does. Then once you know it hooks, then you put it back on the scales and go, what does it weigh?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Then go, okay, that works. Put that on paper. That's what works.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
So you want to leave this then?
I'd leave that. Yeah, well, let's leave on maximum attack. If we have an issue where we're separating too aggressively, we can easily slow it down.
All right, let's do it.
I like that. That's like, I mean, for now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to the track like that.
Like 30 feet.
No, it's got to give. That's not going anywhere. It's fine now. What's the prices again?
Yeah, $5 for a burnout, $2.50 per launch.
That's cheap, bro.
It is.
At the moment, we're just sort of getting just from what I know that this surface is going to want, just putting some basic starting positions in there for setting up. We're going to start setting up a drive shaft curve for this surface, which will be a good starting point for work. Launch RPM at full, right?
Yep.
So launch at full, just 1 on the boost controller.
Yep.
These off for now. We're going to try and do a burnout.
Okay.
Right? If it does spin, put it in top gear.
Okay.
Give it a skid.
All right.
Right.
Yep.
Then we're going to back it up.
Yep.
And then we're going to put the we'll probably bring the launch RPM down to the bottom setting.
Yep.
Right. And we'll put this torque control onto probably 2. Right?
Sweet.
But I can come in and press this for you, right? If you want.
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah.
But yeah, so even you do it yourself if you want. We also thought we wanted to. We'll just play with it a little bit, maybe a little bit further on. We'll start bumping. We'll get you to each time we'll do it, but let's first just focus on just trying to get the car to move.
Yeah.
So. Bad.
It's at £9, is it? Oh no, sorry, 8 off the hip.
Yeah, £9 on the brake, yeah. Two 25-kilo weight plates in the back.
And put more weight in the back?
Yep, 100%. Just let's throw more weight in the back.
Alright, let's do that then.
Yeah.
That is some quality work. All you got to do is put a t-shirt over it so no one can see it, and then we're good.
Nah, I better not be running for that event. Don't say that, you just jinxed this, Dave. God damn it.
Weather channel, blame the weather.
Blame the weather guy. God damn Livio Regano. Alright, are you good?
Very good.
Sweet. Just making a point of this is very coarse concrete, so good. I mean, it's a bit smoother over here. You can see there's a couple of... Someone else has been testing here.
That didn't really go to plan, and the map sensor was reading like 20 pound when the car was off. So I'm pretty sure that the turbo out, which is like pre-cooler PSI, is the same as the map sensor. I'm gonna swap them over. And the thing is, it's very, very, very hot. So that's obviously a very fun time. This one's super easy to get to.
Turn the ignition on.
So it turns out the crankcase pressure sensor is the same. I knew I had one the same on the car, and I just did a switcheroo. So we're swapping that out. Although some retard may or may not have got them mixed up on the ground. So we'll just see how we go.
Okay, it was Woody.
This is my bad. I was told to remote mount the sensors, and I have done that on lots of other projects. But I was like, I'll make it look nice and neat, and I'll just screw the map sensor into the inlet manifold. They don't like vibrations and they fail, and that's what's happened with this one. So I will be remote mounting that tomorrow or next week. So, and I'll take a spare with me anyway.
That heard a bit better?
Yeah, it's getting there. That's what we want. That's exactly what we were trying to do tonight.
Awesome.
That's good. We've got you can go up there, first pass off the trailer, we can put that in. That should go down no problems at all. And then we can start creeping it up. Whereas before we were just be shot in the dark. Whereas now at least we've got something that we're pretty confident will go straight down.
And a map sensor that works.
We got a map sensor that works, yeah.
It wasn't easy, but we got there in the end. Kevo makes over 1,000 horsepower, and I'm so stoked. It's a little goal that I set myself on the side. I really wanted to make over that 1,000 horsepower figure, just because owning a 1,000 horsepower street car I think that's pretty cool. I'm really thankful for the friends that I've made along the way during this journey that have helped out on Kevo, and the friends I've got in my corner. Like Kai, he is such a wealth of knowledge, and as I said, really, I'm just the monkey that's releasing the trans brake button and pointing the car in the right direction. Kai is the brains behind getting this thing to work. The no prep event we're going to is Junga Bunga no prep, or Junga Bunga cash days. This weekend, Saturday the 17th, I'll be down there with Kevo, and I'm going to take some merch down with me too. So if you want to come grab yourself a hat or a shirt, I've got some random sizes. Come and say hi, come give us a high five. It's going to be an awesome event, and looking forward to getting out in the car and getting some seat time. I didn't have a no prep event in mind for Kevo originally. This was going to be set up as a prep track car, but it's how the stars have aligned. And basically the thing is, Kai's going to be at that event, and I want to get down there with Kai so that he can be on the laptop with us. I've admitted it before, I'm not very good when it comes to tuning vehicles. Not very good means that I'm hopeless. So I want to lean on Kai a fair bit there, and I want to learn a lot. So I'm a visual learner. I want to watch what he does. He can show me how to do it so that hopefully in the future I can do it myself. But I'm really happy with this. We still have a lot to set up. After we left Pauli's the other night, we threw it back on the trailer. We got it back to the workshop, and there's a lot to change on the car. I've got to relocate that map sensor. We've got to secure those weights in the boot. They were just sitting in the boot for those few launches. So we've got to actually get those big plates on the back there. What else have we got to do? We've got to fit a harness to the car. We've got to fit a battery isolator. There's all these little things you've got to do before racing. We are lucky out at Warwick. I don't have to be licensed, and we can't run under a 5. I forget what the number is in the 8th. But we're not going to be going that fast anyway to begin with. So, well, we may do, but I highly doubt that we're going to reach the cutoff time, especially at a no prep event. So it's going to be mad. Thank you for watching. Once again, as always, I kind of postponed this episode from last week to get the dyno and the test hits into the one. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week. If you don't come out to Warwick, we'll see you next week on the channel, and with Kevo's very first track day, and me probably shitting myself, screaming down the track, because this kind of does scare me a little bit. So it's going to be fun. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Please send your finest drop of Pinot Noir to PO Box 551 Nambour, which is right here. You after a Pinot, Kai? Yeah, is that?
Yeah, Pinot's not bad.
Right,
you know,
sweet.
even a good cheeky rosé goes all right.
Hot
Mate.
rosé,
Yeah.
all right.
That's super manly, that one.
In saying that, if you do ever want to send me something, whether it be stickers, fan mail, anything, PO Box is there. It's for a reason. Send it through, and I really appreciate it. Thanks. I want to take a second to acknowledge the fallen. This was the 2JZ GE camshaft from Kevo when we built the engine at Golby's, and I kept it and planted this, I don't know, it's a Monstera or something in there. Looks cool anyway. Looney Tunes, you reckon?
That's all, folks.
What's the pig's name again? Yeah, I'm thinking of Space Jam, the pig. Okay, rolling. Is there a blue light on that microphone?
Yep.
Is there a blue light?
Forgot what I was going to say. How much did it weigh again? Oh, I just looked at it. No, 1387. All right, I'll go. 1387 without me, and then it's like 1390 with me in it because I'm real skinny and light as. I'm not fat at all.
I thought you said the one dude in the comments that 1500 was the number with you, isn't it?
1500 is with me in it. Yeah, it's 1493 or something. I think it was.
1390 is
No, I'm not that fat. Hang on, that's like
maths,
120.
guys.
Yeah, shit. Nah, I'm not that heavy.
Nah, you don't look
I'm under 100,
yeah.
depending if I've pooped or not. I'm like 98, 97.
Fuck, really?
Yeah, I know.
Look at that.
It's just all those big muscles I
I
got,
would
you know.
have pegged you for high 80s. Muscles heavier than that.
I wish you had a microphone. I don't know if I can hear. All right, it's You're gonna judge me? How much do you weigh? There you go. I don't give a shit about what I weigh. That's fine by me.
I make up the difference.
I'm okay with my body. I'm not self-conscious at all.
Athlete compared to the average type.
I am an athlete compared to every drag racer is always a big dude. Always, it's like
Always hunting for weight
You want to get
reduction.
those
Yeah.
last,
Won't eat.
if you want to get
Less
those last
KFC.
2 tenths out of this thing, just throw me in there.
oh, dude,
I weigh 50.
thoroughbred over here. Yeah. Okay, I'll wait till that car goes. Here we are. This is the end credits. If you want to support the show, you can buy an I Hate Cars hat in this corner over here. If you want to watch another video, click down over there. If you haven't subscribed, or if your missus hasn't subscribed, or your grandma hasn't subscribed, tell them to click over in this corner. Thanks for watching. See you next time. High
See you
five.
next time.
High five.